John Springer was Marilyn's publicist for many years.
I was completely involved through the Actors Studio period. She was funny. She was a funny girl. I mean, people treat her like a bubblehead. She wasn't. She was a very smart, witty, bright person.
Well, Marilyn, speaking of measurements, are they still the same as when you left? Have you gained weight? Have you lost weight?
I think I'm about the same.
About the same.
Yes.
Nobody has any complaints.
I don't know.
Speak up, boys. You're wearing a high-neck dress now. The last time I saw you wear it. Is this a new Marilyn, a new style?
No, I'm the same person, but it's a different suit.
Lee Strasberg and the Actors Studio stood for people like Marlon Brando and Montgomery Clift and Geraldine Page and Maureen Stapleton, the great, great people. For the first time, Marilyn took her life as an actress seriously because somebody had great faith in her as an actress.
That's why the link with my father was so strong, was that he recognized in her that shining flame, which she did have. If you talk to people who saw her at the Actors Studio when she was on stage, you know, in life, she tended to have kind of a small quality. In other words, almost like a little girl quality. So that you wouldn't have imagined that on stage that light would kind of enlarge. But it did. She glowed on stage.
Of course, they were fascinated with her. I don't think they'd ever had such a notorious kind of a movie star in their midst before.
And what it took to walk into the Actors Studio, where they were all real hardcore get-down actors, and the language that they used.
Seeing what we did there, seeing the courage to explore one's terrors, one's fantasies, I think that's something she was longing to try, and she did.
And Marilyn, to be so well known and to walk into a room of actors who would have such contempt for you and what you stood for,
took a certain kind of real guts that I don't think people give her credit for.
We could see that she was really a baby in this, but she did have the courage, and she did some very interesting work. But at the same time, you had such a feeling that it was almost like jumping out of the window when she did it. She had so little sense of security about it that she wasn't sure she'd be able to get herself back together again. But of course, she was growing. She was developing.
There were some surprises, like the revelation that Marilyn was seeing America's most respected playwright, Arthur Miller. And there had been another surprise.
They were going to make the Brothers Karamazov into a film, and Marilyn said she wanted to be Grushenka. And she could have played it beautifully. But of course, everybody laughed at the pretension of this woman, this girl, this gentlemen prefer blondes type, saying that she wanted to play great Russian drama. And I think the press began to ridicule her at that point.
Do you feel, you said you wanted to grow. Do you feel you have grown?
Well, I hardly know how to answer that since they misinterpret that, meaning
I'm not
in inches or something.
I'm not talking about
And she didn't care because she knew what she was. By this point, she knew she was good. She knew she was, and she had never known. She had never been taken seriously. She had never been treated like anything but a kind of a beautiful idiot child.
After only a year in New York, Marilyn's determination paid off. She received a new contract and a new power.
Marilyn, are you happy to come back and do this picture? Are you pleased with the bus stop?
Oh, yes, very much. I'm looking forward to working with Josh Logan and doing the picture, and it's good to be back.
Was he your selection as a director?
20th Century Fox selected him, and I have director approval, and they asked if I would approve of him, and definitely
You did. So you're very happy. You think you're going to make a very good picture.
I hope it will be a good picture.
Marilyn Monroe, I said, she can't act, can she? But I had only seen her in these funny, flashy movies where she sort of breathed hard and was very sexy. And Lee Strasberg said, well, she was the best actress best actor outside of Marlon Brando that we had. And I said, she was? So I went back, I said, would you excuse me just a minute? I went back to the back of the house and I called Hollywood and said, I'll do Bus Stop with Marilyn Monroe.
That old black magic has me in its spell.
She got all the ideas. She had the accent down perfect. It was a sort of a hillbilly southern accent. And she knew how to speak it so easily. She'd rehearsed it. And when they sent drawings to us for a show costume, she said, I do like that if we can just, make it look real. I suddenly realized that she was a wonderful girl with great, imaginative, funny. She was a comedian. She was any kind of a serious actress that you wanted her to be. And she was not at all dumb. She was brilliant. She was just uneducated.
Down my spine.
When I first heard that I'd be working with Marilyn Monroe on Bus Stop, my expectations was to be working with a musical comedy actress. Marilyn had learned tremendous dramatic and comedy technique that didn't depend just on her personality, but she could really get into a character and play it with great truth as well as humor. The last scene in Bus Stop, the last love scene, as a matter of fact, it wasn't the last scene, but the last love scene, where we come together and we have that kiss, when I very seriously say to her, I sure wish you were coming back to the ranch with me, Cherry. I wish that more than anything in the world, and she accepts my proposal. That scene was shot in an extreme close-up.